Well, everyone, today we are continuing the Providence Falls. Even though we've passed the final episodes, we just cannot say goodbye to this wonderful series. So today we are talking to director Siobhan Devine. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you. So
Okay,
great.
so we're going to start with just a little get to know you with what is your favorite movie of all time?
Oh my goodness, my favorite. How can I have one favorite movie of all time? It's impossible.
I haven't
Uh,
one. It's
do
easy.
you? I think my very favorite is a movie called Brokeback Mountain,
Okay.
which, yeah, it's probably the one that continues to bring me to tears every time.
I have to ask though, and you have to be honest with me. Do you think you were partially hired because of your name? I mean, it is like absolutely perfect for this project, right? You've got the Irish and the divinity aspect of it. So,
That this is that's true. I hadn't even thought of that, but yeah, very Irish name for sure. And yes, I don't know. Maybe I looked like the name looked like the right person for the project. I just don't know.
uh,
Although I'm not Irish, I'm British Canadian. So, but it could
right.
have had something.
Well, I'll say when I saw your name, I was like convinced you were Irish. And then I was like, saw you're Canadian. I'm like, oh, wait, tricked us. But all right. What is your view, though, on fate or destiny?
My view on fate or destiny. Well, I mean, I believe in fate to some degree, but I do believe that we have we kind of are self-determinative, that we can choose our own fate and make our own choices, make our mistakes. So I think I probably fall more on the choosing your own fate than that fate is laid down for us.
So you don't think you were around in like the 1800s and now brought forward to create this movie? That was like your whole point for generations and generations.
Well, I may have done, but I could still steer off the course. How about that?
Who chose the "You Are the Reason"? Because that song, like just perfectly from a lyric standpoint, fits what's happening in the movie as well as the actual dialogue that's happening in the movie. It's almost as if it was written for this scene.
Yeah, well, the producers had some of the producers I think are very big into music, and they had like Alex Koskas. I don't know if you've talked to him, but
Yeah,
he gave me a playlist of all of his of all the songs that he liked that they were looking at, the producers and the network were looking at, and so that was perfect for me because then I could play those that playlist while I was making the movie, like because I was driving in and out to set, I would have that on, so it kind of yeah, absolutely perfect song. Both songs, I mean, all the songs are brilliant. The music's brilliant in this whole trilogy.
absolutely. And obviously they, had a couple dollars to get some rights to some songs in this one. All right, so you said he had this playlist for you. So what else was there anything else that was good on it that we didn't go with that you didn't hear?
Well, it probably were other songs, but they went with the songs that they liked and that they could get. So there were
Right.
songs that were ungettable, obviously, but it's still music is so important for setting the tone, and I like to listen to music when I'm directing anything. And I think Lucy also came up with a bunch of the songs. So I think it was like a group situation, but yeah, it was super helpful. And I felt that the right songs ended up in the trilogy.
Absolutely, absolutely. So speaking of the trilogy, you had the position of the middle movie. So you had Lucy on each side of you, sort of setting the tone coming on into it. So what was the hardest part being, that second one, knowing that the beginning was already set?
So luckily, I mean, I was involved a little bit. I was quite involved early on. I was going to meetings, and the production were really generous, and Lucy also. So I watched all the casting tapes, and I got to comment on cast, and same with locations. Like I didn't interfere because it wasn't my it wasn't my movie number one, but I certainly kept up with where she was going, where they were going, what kind of sets they were looking at. So that was super useful for me, so that I was really up to date when they got started. And then, yeah, the middle movie is kind of an interesting place, because it's really taking all of the stuff that's been laid down by the initial director and the cast and everybody, and then making, kind of amping it all up and setting up the third movie. So that was really my job, was to make sure that everyone wanted to come back for movie three, like to take movie two, deepen the whole, take movie one, deepen it all, and then just make sure that we kind of set up the third movie, because that's the big finale.
Well, that last scene was quite the setup, where I say walking out of the room with the okay, I'm going to let her go, was quite powerful. I have to ask, who was your favorite character? That we had some very wide variety, very different ones. So, who is your favorite
Mhm.
character?
I'm not sure I have a favorite character. I mean, obviously, I love Cora, because she is, you know, she is a strong, independent woman who is being kind of buffeted by fate. I found that a super interesting place to be, a modern woman being kind of like, trying to have her own um, life, and chart her own path, and always being blindsided by other forces. So I really felt quite an affinity to that character. And then, I mean, how can you choose? Like, every time a new guy would show up, I'm like, wow, could we have any more handsome men on this? I mean, I don't like. I'm glad I wasn't the writer, because choosing between those two amazing, characters was. I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to do that. So, yeah.
Well, Andrea, my co-host, she wanted Magnus to win out. I'm like, seriously? Come on. But there's other factors that went into her weighing pulling for Magnus than his actual character, or the fact he like hits her with the oar or anything like that, right? So,
Right. But he comes
and
off as quite a smooth operator in the beginning, I think.
yeah.
Like when we first see him, I really like. We wanted to make sure that he was a viable option, and so I think he definitely is.
Well, I mentioned this before in my post I did yesterday, and the amazing thing about this series was usually you don't have that depth of quality of actors from like the very top, number ones all the way down through it. That had to make your job a lot easier, just the absolute talent oozing on this set.
It was such a joy. I mean, it really was. There was. You're right. Every single actor from top to bottom is fantastic, and it made everybody and my job better, easier, and it really helped to bring the scripts to life. So yeah, we were super fortunate. I think a little bit was the time of year, shooting January, February, March, because the business is often a little bit quieter, and so I think we just really benefited from the timing of that, because yeah, every they were so good, so experienced, and everyone just came with joy to do.
Really, for us Hallmark fans, it's a side we don't normally see of Niall to, portray him that way. And he was absolutely fantastic. And, how he built his character was just absolutely great. Because, he's a guy we're all supposed to love and everything like that. And somehow being, the devilish guy that he is, you still are kind of rooting for him in a weird way.
Yeah, I love Niall. I worked with him on a movie, Christmas Pen Palace, I think it was. That's the first time I ever worked with him, and he was the leading man there. And he's a lovely man and a really awesome actor. So yeah, it was nice to see him play kind of the bad guy, and just stretch a little bit. So he brought a lot of fun to that part for sure.
Well, I have to ask, there's a trend that's in movies these days, and Providence Falls definitely went along with it, but it's these really dark scenes. So what is it you think about that's making this such the driving look in movies these days?
Oh yeah, that's a really good question. I think there's fashions in the look of film and television, and I just think like what I liked about what Justin did in this particular trilogy was that because it was across time, he added like a little bit of sepia to the whole thing. So it made it a little bit timeless, which I thought was super brilliant. And I think that the darkness does make make a scene or a look more timeless. It's sort of less obvious when you know that it's not it was the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. But I think the darkness sort of does give the material a bit of timelessness.
You said that you'd done a little nod to Color of Money in the billiard scene. Any other nods or anything else we should be looking for when we rewatch it?
Well, there was the little, I mean, the lake scene when he comes out of the lake. Help but think about the Bridgerton with Jonathan Bailey. When Jonathan Bailey comes out of the pond, and it's just such a stunning. It's a beautiful moment, and I really wanted to capture that, and that's why we didn't get it. We originally we'd wanted to put him in a white shirt, but it was like nearly freezing. It was
Right.
literally nearly freezing, so that was not like just was not reasonable to put an actor in almost no clothes. Um, but I still went a little bit slow mo on the whole coming out of the water because I really wanted us to be able to see that because it can things can go by in a flash on camera. So I really wanted to be able to see it, but I just went a little bit off so that the sound still worked, so we could hear the water. So yeah, there was definitely that was the inspiration for that moment for sure.
I think it also helps that he is ginormous and just like seeing him, exit the water carrying her and everything like that. It was a very, very powerful scene. And, when I talked to them, they were saying, yes, how lovely it was for you to do that scene when the water is like 6 degrees. And, got to do it again, got to do it again, got to get it right, get
Yeah,
back in the
when I
water.
sent them back in, I mean, poor Katie because she's a tiny little thing, and she was like, "We have to go in again." I'm like, I said, "I'll tell you what. Why don't doesn't Lachlan carry you?" So he carried her back in the water and then dumped her in the water and then brought her back out so that she didn't have to walk in the freezing cold. Like he was a true gentleman. So he did that a couple of times until we got the take right.
Maybe he deserves the girl then. I,
Maybe.
well, we heard that there was the big karaoke party over in Ireland. Now, did you go to that one as well?
I did not. I didn't go to Ireland at all because the schedule, I only have the one scene that needed to be done in Ireland, and that's in the castle when Finn asks Cora to marry him. And if I went, it would have like pushed the whole production by 2 weeks because I needed to be here to prep because I was up next. So Lucy and I did, had conversations about it, and so she agreed that she would shoot that scene for me. So I didn't get to go to Ireland. I just got to be here and watch all the dailies come in and all the beautifulness.
Oh, what a shame. What a shame.
I
You
know.
even said you had the name. What are they doing keeping you from there? They should have postponed it there. All right. Well, what do you have next? Anything up coming up for you?
Yeah, I'm just actually start prep on Monday on a show called Allegiance, which is I think it's on CW in the States, and it's a police procedural that takes place in Surrey in the Southeast Asian community. So very, very excited about that. It's a really good show.
Exciting, exciting. All right. Well, Sean, it was absolutely a blast talking with you. And like I said, the series obviously has been fantastic, great, reception by all the Hallmark fans who have been looking for something like this. And all I can say is I'm putting it out there. We're looking forward for you in season 2.
Oh, from your lips.
Yep. Well, I've kind of taken over control of the network, so I'll make it happen.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Well, have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Bye bye.
This podcast was created by fans for fans and is not affiliated with or sponsored by Hallmark or the Hallmark Channel.